Hey, 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 welcome everybody. Here's Wanda, ready again for day 2 of the Magic of Fear Challenge 2019. Today is the 5th of March. How are you all? Today's topic about fear is the fear of failure. And that is a really powerful one. As a tarot reader, yesterday we discussed, as a tarot reader, I have a lot of insight into what worries people the most. And what seemed to be the biggest hit for fear of failure is what other people think. Hello, Melinda. How are you, darling? Hello, Candy. Welcome. So I'm going to do a bit of teaching today because actually I am a teacher and I really want to help you guys. The fear of failure can really stop you being the best person that you can be, because you have these preconceived ideas about, about your past that interfere with your future. Does that make sense? Now, the causes of failure can be so many situations: humiliation, emotional trauma, trying something and being ridiculed for it. All those finer details that happen to us when we are little, and we make it mean that we can't succeed. And we make it mean that we have failed or we have been ridiculed. In the system that I was brought up, for a lot of years. I'll just tell you a very quick story. I was brought up when I was I think I was about 7 years old, and being in a Catholic school, we had to go to church every Friday. Oh my God, that used to drive me nuts, because I was, I think, a little bit hyperactive and I wanted to play and walk around, and I fidgeted and I didn't like the hat. It was itching my head, and we had to go into the uniform that was really tight and wear the hat and sit there like a statue for nearly an hour. Oh my God, I couldn't hack it. And my girlfriend and I, we decided, we were just chatting amongst ourselves, and of course the teacher that was behind us got very cranky with us, and actually when we got back to the classroom, humiliated us in front of everybody. And how she humiliated us was she actually beat us with a ruler. She beat me first, and then my little girlfriend was so petrified of that, of being hit with a ruler, that she actually started to scream, and my heart went out because I wanted to help her, but I was paralyzed myself. I felt like screaming at the teacher. And of course, as a 7-year-old, you don't do that kind of thing. But needless to say, neither one of us stayed in that school because both our parents took us out of that school within the day. We never went back. I never went back, that's for sure. My mother wouldn't allow it. So that was brutality at its highest. And that kind of traumatic incident can affect you. Now, I don't know whether it affected me. Maybe at some level that fear of being, ridiculed, like I was talking about on the first day, that fear of what other people could think of you can have a very powerful impact. Hello, everybody who's hopped on. So it can have a very powerful impact on you, right? Okay, and so today, the reason why I'm calling this the magic of fear is because the magic lies in the lesson that fear can teach you, in hindsight in like a retrospect of your life. So rather than letting it rule your life, look at it from a different dimension and go, well, okay, that was then. How did it help me grow? Did I become stronger with it, or did I maintain that level of fear that no one was ever going to find out? So today, the next huge one is the fear of failure for a lot of people. Type in the comments box, those of you who've joined me, have you got a fear of failure at some level? Now, the causes of failure can be so many, and it starts in our school. It could start with mum and dad. What is your story? Or what are your stories that you have around your own failure? I don't think I was ever allowed to fail in growing up myself, because my father used to say, come on, you can do this, you can do this. So every time I hit a brick wall, my dad was there supporting and going, keep going, keep going. So, you know, I kept going and I kept going, and I did have a certain level of success. Okay. So, but for a lot of us, like for my husband, for instance, you know, he never moved forward because of his fear of success. For his fear, it was so bad. And for all of us being individual, we all feel it in different ways. And like I say, our blocks, if you want to look at them like that, our blocks have tentacles, and those tentacles reach other levels inside our body where it affects us the most. We feel with our body, and that's where the pain is. Does that make sense? It's where the wounds are of our past. And so there are several causes of failure: that environmental, emotional, mental. It could be a whole range of things. For everybody, it is different, and we interpret it in a different way. And how we experience failure looks like this. So it can look like anxiety, right? Though I work with a lot of children who have anxiety. They're so freaking scared. Makes me wonder what it is, because they can't even talk about it because they don't actually know. And so through the art, I managed to shift that for them. Okay. Perfectionism is another one. Perfectionism is another way in which people experience failure, because it's not perfect enough. They fail at it, and then they can, you know, it's a reliving story. I told you so, can't do it, can't do it, can't do it. So another experience of failure looks like resistance. So you are so resistant about it, and if the person who's trying to encourage you to try, you go into anxiety or you go into overwhelm. Okay, that's another experience of how we look at fear of failure. Self-sabotage is another one. Is this making sense to you? If I've mentioned any of those, type it in the comments box. Yes, Wanda, I suffer from extreme anxiety. Yes, Wanda, I'm all the time in resistance. Yes, Wanda, you know, I'm a perfect procrastinator. You know, I don't want to do things because deep down there is a fear of failure, that you are not good enough. You can't frickin' do it, so frickin' forget it. And that's how you make up your mind, and that's what happens. The next thing is lack of self-confidence is a huge one for fear of failing. And like I said, the other ones, the perfectionism and the procrastination, are all linked to the anxiety and our other views of trying to have things perfect. My husband is very much like that, you know, and he really struggles with that on a daily basis. It's so terrible. And since, you know, seriously, you know, if it's stopping you from being the best person that you can be, I highly recommend you going to hypnotherapy. Now, I'm no doctor or anything, but I know that hypnotherapy is sometimes a better course of action, because it gets down to the timeline. It gets down to those childhood traumas, right? Whereas you can cognitively sort it out, but you need to get down to the nitty gritty. And sometimes, and with hypnotherapy, you've got that other level, because let's face it, you cannot just fix the cognitive mind, because this kind of stuff, these fears, are embedded in us since we were little children. And so therefore you're going to need more. You're going to need someone who can work on the mindset, the spirit, and the body. Why? Because we hold our emotions, we hold our trauma in our body, and it triggers, our emotion triggers the memories, and vice versa. It triggers the memories. So sometimes when I've had clients who say, oh, I'm reliving my past, well, you can't actually relive an incident, because an incident can happen once to you, but the memory of it is so painful, or the memory of it is so traumatic for you that it feels like you're reliving it, but actually you are just remembering it. And so when you work with a hypnotherapist. I'm not a hypnotherapist, and I'm not trying to, you know, push hypnotherapy onto you, but I'm saying that with a hypnotherapist, they can say, well, this is what happened to you in the past, reliving that memory and getting the idea of what you made your mind up for, knowing that you are safe right at this moment. And so that can really help you transform quicker, faster, better. Anyway, what I wanted to show you today, I hope this is making sense. So here is a little tool that I use myself and I suggest to my clients. It's called the focus wheel. Now, I first heard of this from Esther Hicks a lot of years ago, and also Jessie Elder also uses this technique. Now, what it is that, see the wheel behind me? It looks like a little bit like an orange or a basketball or a little, you know, what do you call this? A little beach ball, okay? You can put different colours in it. For me, like an artist, is like the colour wheel, you know, like secondary colours and so on. But anyway, this is the focus wheel. This is what you do, okay? So write down what your fear of failure is. Okay, so it might be, you put in the word failure, and oh, hang on, that's not working. Where is my other pen? Hang on a secondo. I'm just going to get it here. Okay, so I'm going to put the word failure here. Okay, here we go. The focus wheel helps you focus, because it's very easy for someone to say, oh, you know, come on, get over it. You know, just do it, just do it. Which is a very easy cop-out when you're suffering with all these mind games that are going around and around. Now you can't do it, and you're getting yourself all stressed out, and you're trying, and you go and break into a sweat, and you nearly have a nervous breakdown and a cardiac arrest, okay? But if you just put the word failure into the box, your fear of failure, what is it that you have a worry about? And it's failure. So then you go for the next best thought that you believe about failure. Like, for example, you could say something like, ask yourself, do you always fail? And it may not be. You might say, no, I don't always fail. Like you know, and you might write that down. I do not always fail. I'm good at some things. Do you follow? So I put that there. I do not always fail. I'm good at some things. Okay, your cognitive mind, your ego won't, you know, get cranky with that one, or won't resist that one. Well, you know, because you don't always fail. Maybe you're really good at cooking lasagna, you know, so you're not always a full-on failure. Then the next thing that you might say is, the next positive thing that you could say that you can believe. The next statement that you could say to yourself could be something from, let's say we're really good at cooking a lasagna. You say, I'm really good, I'm really fantastic at cooking lasagna. Really good cook. So that's not entirely a failure. And you love doing that, you know, you love doing that. You might, the next best thing that you might say is, you know, I love being creative, and people tell me that I'm really good at painting. The next one could be, the next one could be, you know, like, you know, I was scared of crossing the road, but I've done it 20 times now and I'm not scared anymore, so I can do that. So basically what you're doing in this, your little statements are little affirmations, if you like. They're little positive evidence. It's positive evidence that you are not the failure that you think you are. Does that make sense? And by the time you have thought about what to write in the wheel and you get to here, you're feeling pretty good. It's almost like you've reminded yourself that you are not the failure that you think you are, and that you can then use this wheel over and over and over again with every little attempt. And if you do that, if you use that strategy, it really, really helps. It really, really helps you move forward. But the thing is, you've got to do the work, okay? You've got to do the work, because all these fears of failure are sitting in your subconscious. They're like a little mite sitting in a cave, hiding and going ning, 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 ning. And every time something comes up new that you want to do, try for a new job, and suddenly get a bit of inspiration. Oh my God, I'd love to be a hairdresser. I'd love to learn how to cut people's hair. And then you think, oh, I'm going to find out, and you're about to pick up the phone and go, do you have any hairdressing courses available? Before you even do that, these little reminders go, oh, you don't want to do that. You're hopeless. You know, come on, look what happened last time to you. You know, people thought you were a dickhead. So, you know, the tentacles come out and then you get stuck. Then you go, oh, better not, better not. You don't know how many times I hear my adult clients in my art studio go, oh, I'm not really good at art. And I go, and what makes you think that? Oh, you know, I'm a really crap drawer. Okay, and what makes you think that? Oh, well, when I was little, my mother used to say, darling, you're just like me, you can't draw for peanuts. All right, you go to school and everyone else is drawing and painting and you're going, oh, shit, you know, how do I draw a stick figure? And you do that, and then a teacher or a child might say, oh, you're a shit drawer, you know, like, is that all you can do? Can't you do this? And when you think about it, guys, when you seriously think about it, I mean, the teachers back in the olden days, I mean, how many of them were actually good drawers or even experts in art to even determine whether you were good or not? I mean, some people are naturally creative and pick it up, but the majority of us are creative in different ways. And so really what I've discovered as a teacher in my field, in my learning, is that when you teach children the simple skills of art, oh my God, they take it off to another level, right? It doesn't mean they're not creative. They just get the idea and off they go, you know? So there's so much about that is very important. About the fear of failure. So I hope I won't continue going right around, because what you might want to do, okay, if you want to do this, is create this yourself. It's the focus wheel, and there's failure in the middle. And I've written sentences that I can believe, that I know that I've done. And once I've read all of those, I should be feeling, and I've done it myself several times, so I know that this works. And when you get to that place of, oh yeah, I can do that, yeah, and give yourself a turn, then that's great. If you want to take a photograph of that right now, screenshot, do it. And if you want to write your own wheel based on your own thingos, go ahead and do it. Take a screenshot and then upload it and send it to me on Messenger, and I will have a look for you. And see if you want me to check it, sure, fine, but I shouldn't have to. But I mean, if you want sort of like some feedback on it, I'm happy to help you out, okay, with that. Now, if you're watching the replay, can you please do #replay, and that way I know how many people have watched the video. Anyway, guys, I hope that's been helpful for you today. The Magic of Fear Challenge, today's fear, the fear of failure, and go for it. Go for it. Do this wheel. See what comes up when you do it, and see what, you know, stops you from that. And believe you me, it's not true. It's not real. Those negative thoughts that you have about yourself are not real about you. You can do whatever you want to do, because you are divine consciousness, because you are bloody fabulous. All right? I've just told you you're bloody fabulous. That's it. Go do it. Go. I was about to say go break a leg, but don't do that. Guys, I'll talk to you later. Tomorrow I'll be on talking about the fear of something else. What else do we have a fear about? I think I've covered the 2 biggies, but we've got 3 more to do, and I'm not telling you till tomorrow. God bless you all, and I will see you tomorrow on the happy side. Bye for now.